Okay.
Okay, now we're recording.
Okay.
Oh my God. So taking a step back, because I feel like everything that we talked about should have been recorded. But so before hitting record, oh man, I was telling you about, I just had a session and I was like bawling my face off about how like time isn't really real and how you can still take yourself back to like spaces and time and feel all the feels. Cause like I literally had a coaching call right before it. And then all of a sudden I do this like hypnotherapy intuitive reading session. And we were talking about like, what were we talking about? Moving and a few other new things. And then next thing you know, it's like, you're not worthy. This is impossible. Cry your face off. Like,
let's go back in time. Where did this start?
That's what she did though. So that's what they do. Like they take you back and they go like, okay, where did you feel this? Was this familiar or was it new? And I'm like, it was familiar. And it's so funny. It's not funny at all. It's actually really sad, but it's nice to like understand where it comes from. And so anyways, we go back from the most recent event to the one that you can remember the farthest back. And so it was like, I was 4 years old. I was in Minnesota. There was like, it's just like crazy. And all of a sudden, and then you're sitting there talking to your 4-year-old self, and then you change perspectives and you're 4 years old talking to your adult self. And I'm just like hysterical. Like I'm angry, I'm crying, my throat hurts, my chest hurts, my back hurts. Oh my God. I was like literally like bawling my face off. Like right now I look like freaking who is it? What did they say? Like my makeup's just like, I don't even wear that much makeup. I put mascara on today. I don't know why, but now it's all over my freaking face. So
you got like the black smudges under your eyes.
Yes. I look like a freaking raccoon now. Good thing I'm wearing a black sweater too. I was like wiping my face and my husband's home. So I'm like, God, what if he comes upstairs and I'm just like hysterically crying in this chair?
I always wonder like what my husband would think if you just like walked in on like some of that spiritual work that I do. Like whether it's like a session or a healing session or whether I'm like energizing my crystals or trying to bless my vision board or like whatever it is that I'm doing. I'm like, if somebody walked in on me right now and was looking at me, what would they think of me?
It's so funny that you say like the charging the crystals, because I remember right before our last retreat, I was outside and I was charging all of my crystals and somebody was like, I don't know what the fuck you were doing out there, but I just know that I wanted crystals and I wanted them to sunbathe too. They're like, it looked so cool.
Oh, that's so funny.
I'm like, it is cool. It's awesome.
I know. It's so funny because we live full time in our RV. So we're always staying at different RV parks. Mm-hmm. And I remember, and a lot of times there's older people there because they're usually full of snowbirds. And so this last resort that we stayed at, I did the same thing. I took all my crystals and I like took them outside to charge on like this slab in the sun. But like we have neighbors and like they're really close to you because this is like a campground. I'm out there like laying them out and making sure that they're in the sun and that they're like I'll go out there and I'll like do my grounding practice. So I'll like take off my shoes and I'll like visualize the energy like coming out one leg and coming up the other. And I'm like, these people just like look at me and stare at me like, what is this girl doing?
Dude, for real though. Or like, did I ever tell you about the time I wear like different, basically like essential oils are my perfume. Like I don't really wear perfume or anything like that anymore. Gosh, I actually can't even think. Like I threw away all of my body sprays, all of my like basically anything that was like alcohol based or anything like that, because one, I was like breaking out, but then two, as soon as the scent wears away, you smell like rubbing alcohol. But
yeah, no,
anyways,
I threw all mine away too.
So I had this like me, I like patchouli. And so I had this like patchouli mix or whatever. And like some people are like really love it. Other people really hate it. And I was in Walmart one day, and this was a couple of years ago, and somebody like chased me down. And I was like about ready to start running. Cause I'm like, why is this crazy mofo like chasing me. And they just wanted to tell me how good I smelled.
Oh my God.
I'm like, I don't know if I'm the crazy one or they're the crazy one. And, I was all hippie looking. I think I had on like, my crystal necklaces and my freaking bracelets and who knows what shirt I had on and yoga pants or whatever. And I'm walking through smelling like patchouli, but like they scared the shit out of me. They like chased me down like 2 aisles. And then I'm like, excuse me. And they're like, you're wearing patchouli. I love it. And I'm like, this is weird.
I can't say that I would ever chase someone down just to tell them how much I liked their patchouli smell.
It was so weird. I don't know. Like, it was just really weird. And I was like, thank you. Like, I don't even know what to say. It was a strange interaction, but no, I've never been, that's never happened to me before. That was just the one time I was in Walmart grocery shopping by myself and somebody they like literally like ran, like I walked past them and then like I went to the other aisle and they like ran after me.
Oh my God.
I was terrified.
I'm just like, picturing this in my head.
Oh my God. Oh shit. But yeah, no. And the other thing is like, I feel like we have very similar households because you were talking about like the diffusers, and I don't know if you do incense or not. I do incense, and Will always gets pissed at me. He actually likes some of them.
Loves the incense now too, though. Like,
does he?
Yeah, so he'll just light them by himself now. He's like, oh, it smells funny. Well, in the RV, like, so sometimes like the tanks will stink if like, I don't know. It's just part of RV life. So he'll be like, I'm gonna light some incense up in here, and like we have like sandalwood and I don't know.
Sandalwood is my favorite. Oh,
love sandalwood.
That's so like we're on the same page with that. But
sometimes I wonder, like, if we were to open up like our RV doors, it'd just be like a big puff of smoke.
People just think you're potheads.
Yeah, because of like, right, and then the smell that goes out with it from the sage and all of the incense burning and.
That's like Will says that though, because I do sage and Palo Santo like every day. That's kind of my thing. And then I pick some crystals. I pick a card. I usually have like a diffuser going in one room, and then depending on what type of sessions I have that day, depends on what kind of like incense I burn. And some days Will will come up and he'll be like, man, it fucking stinks in here. And then other days, like today, I have a Palo Santo incense, and he was like, oh, that one smells really good. So I'm like, okay, I know which ones he likes and which ones he doesn't like. They all just make me happy though.
Mm-hmm. I know, same here. I was actually just like browsing through some more yesterday because I want to order some more. Those are like the kinds of things I look for on Black Friday or Cyber Monday. Who's selling incense and where can I buy gemstones and who has some sage on sale?
I did the same thing. I bought my Law of Attraction planner, and I actually got it for 50% off on Black Friday. And I'm not like a big Black Friday shopper, but I needed a new planner because I'm an idiot and I ordered the mini version, and I can't do like weekly. So it's the difference between the mini version and the one that I got, like the one that I just ordered, is the mini one was like it was a week one, but it had all the days, but it was like you just wrote about the day. It didn't have like the time slots. You know what I mean? So like,
yep.
I had to do the time slots. It just really, yeah. And what else did I get? I got an animal spirit card deck and guidebook. And what else did I get? I think I got another, like I bought just a couple of like Law of Attraction books, and I think I bought a new journal, and I think that was it. I didn't really do like a whole lot of Black Friday shopping. My big thing is I'm like just putting money away. Like I'm putting money away. Like every time I get money, I'm like putting it away because I used to be like a chronic spender, and I'm like continuously trying to like change that story of like, nope, you're an investor, you're a saver. And what's actually been really helpful, not to like change the subject or whatever, but what's been really helpful is I've been donating a lot more. So like even like today, I didn't donate a lot, but I donated $50 to the conservation, like the forest conservation. Because I feel like if I can't be out there like planting trees and like helping save the forest, at least I can donate to like those who can. But like every time I, get money, I'm like, okay, I want to donate this much and I'm going to invest this much. So I try to like invest 10% either in like, I don't know, just stocks or like an investment account or like a savings account or something like that. Cause I was reading something. Actually you read this book too, the Happy Pocket Full of Money, right?
Yes.
And
such a good book.
Yeah. And it's, and it's all about law of attraction, manifestation, raising your vibration, what you're around can, alter your energetic field basically. But the concept, like people can't wrap their mind around like your money can make money for you, but that's like the whole purpose of investing, whether it's in stocks or mutual funds or retirement or real estate or savings accounts. And, I think they were saying like, oh, if you put $1 away, depending on what the return on investment, it can be $1 million if, after compound interest after so many years. And so it's like, if you just keep putting money away in those compounding accounts, like you don't have to do anything with that money ever again. It just makes more money for you.
That's exactly what we do too. We have money that goes into investment accounts every month, and we have, different accounts depending on like, because they all do different things and they all have like different returns and stuff. And it's like my husband's area of expertise. But we have money going there, and then I do the same thing. I make donations because I truly believe the more you give, the more you receive. And so anytime that we have like surplus come in, or anytime we get like a pay bump, or I have a good month or a better month in my business, I should say, then like that extra money doesn't go towards things, it's like, okay, where can we put it? Do we put it into savings? Do we put it into a fund? Do we put it into our, we have a real estate fund, and I make donations to, one of them is for the Elephants Without Borders, and the other, the whale and dolphin conservation, because dolphins and elephants are like my spirit animals, and I just have like such like, I don't know, like an emotional connection to them. So I donate there every month. And actually like one of my dreams is to go to like an elephant sanctuary and like volunteer there for like a week or two. But
that would be so cool.
Wouldn't it?
I think elephants are just fascinating.
Aren't they? And they're just so beautiful and like powerful. And I just think like they represent so many things that I admire.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, I try to donate. So I usually have like my 4 go-to. One of them is like the national forest preservation, basically like preserving like our untouched land, because otherwise there's people out there and they're trying to build on everything, or they're tearing everything down. They're just, so forest conservation, wildlife conservation, because when they do a lot of these, take over a lot of this land, a lot of times these animals lose their homes. I mean, like, think about how many animals in North America are like no longer, and just in North America alone, let alone like across the world. But, wildlife conservation, and then the other 2 is like kids with disabilities, like Special Olympics, things like that. I like to donate to things like that. And then like horse and dog rescues, like any type of like Mustang rescue or horse rescue or off the track thoroughbred rescue or just abused dog rescues, like that one that gets me all the time. And I don't really donate to this specific one. But it's like that Sarah McLachlan is playing and there's like the sad dogs on TV and you just like can't help but like want to start crying. And I'm like, you sons of bitches, you get me every time.
Oh my gosh, those commercials bring tears to my eyes. Honestly, we have a sad baby. I don't know what happened. He just started losing it. Like, what happened? But no, seriously, if I could donate to all of them, I would. I'm like, anytime I'm like, I see like an animal one, I'm like, yep, take my money. Save the animals, save the trees, save the ocean.
Yep.
Save it all.
I'm the same way. And then like one of the apps that I use is Insight Timer. And so if I ever find like a really good like meditation teacher or whatever, it has like a little donate to the teacher button, and I'll donate to those guys too.
Yeah. Any time that I get something for free like that, it just feels good to give back to them. Like, they're providing me with all these meditations. They're providing me like with this app and this space. And, I did that with, like my podcast too. I like with the music and stuff, like there's a company that, gives you the music for free, and all they ask is for a donation, and it's like, I don't know, it just feels good. It's like, yeah, like if you're gonna, help me out and give this to me, and like, it just feels good to give back to them,
It does. And it doesn't have to be a lot. Like that was the thing that was probably the hardest for me to learn in the beginning. Like overcoming all those limiting beliefs of like, I can't, I don't have enough. But like, if you can't give money, then give time, or give a smile, or give a like, give a share, give support. And then, work on that money mindset piece. And then when you can, like, they have a lot of places now where you can just round up to the next dollar, like start there, or give $1, give $5. You don't have to start with this big giant, monthly fund or whatever. It's just give as you can. Cause I remember there was a place like I'd go to McDonald's, and yeah, like this was a while ago, but like you go to McDonald's and they like say, do you want to round up to save the, to the Ronald McDonald House? And it was like, I can't, I'm literally buying a McChicken because all I have is $1.07. Like,
like this is literally all I have. But
I'm in college
like said,
and I can't afford anything.
Yeah, seriously. I've been there too, where I'm like, nope, I can't round up those 5 cents. But like donations don't, like you said, they don't have to be money. It could be anything, your time, like a word, you know what I mean? Like just,
or like the coat drives or the soup drives, or like volunteering time.
One that's really cool is books. Like there's charities that will send like used books over to kids in Africa. So like I get rid of, yeah, I don't know how I came across it, and I don't remember the name of it, but I was like, I am always donating books because we just have a lot of books, and some, and like every time you go through them, you see another one that you're like, still haven't read this one, or, my kids still don't like this one. And, I'm like, what a cool idea. Like I can just like send them all here, and they can give them to kids who don't have that,
Yeah. I like that. Yeah. Cause I guess I donate like clothes a lot. Like that's the one thing that I've been donating a lot. Like I literally just so I've been really trying to up my minimalist game, because my plan is to move in 2021. And I'm like, if it's not serving me now, it's definitely not going to serve me in a new location. And so I'm like getting rid of so much shit, but I've been just like donating it. Right. Because a lot of times people just like throw stuff away, but I'm like, all this stuff is like decent stuff. Like it's nice stuff. Like somebody else could use this. So like, I know Goodwill isn't like a fan or a favorite or whatever, but a lot of the other places were shut down and wouldn't accept donations. So Goodwill got some of my stuff. The women's shelter got some of my stuff. Like some of the schools after programs got some of our stuff, so that was nice to be able, or like cans, like that's a thing that, well, I don't really drink beer a whole lot anymore, but we still have all these like cans from when we like did drink a bunch of beer. Cause we were like, oh, we're going to save these and cash them in someday. Now we have like all these bags of cans, like in our barn. Yeah. Like just that's collecting funny. Dust and shit. So Will went and found a place that you can like donate your cans for like, I don't even remember what it was, but anyways, basically whatever like cans you have, they'll cash in for 5 cents and give to this whatever charity. So I'm like, well, that's cool then.
Oh, that is cool. See, you held on to them and they paid off again.
I know. God, I remember like did you ever have that where like you had no money and you're like scrounging to cash in cans so that you can like buy more beer?
Oh yeah. I was always coming across money somehow though. Like, I always joke about like this being like an experience I had with the law of attraction before I even knew it was a thing. Yeah. But I always knew like I would seriously have like $0 in my bank account in college, and I'd be like, well, I'll pay rent somehow. Like the money's going to show up. Like, and I had that attitude, not, like I worked, I had a job, and I went to school. And so it wasn't like I was lazy and wasn't like working, but you spend money on stupid shit and you go to the bar and like you spend money like crazy. Right. And so I never had any, but it always showed up. Like I was always buying stuff and I was always able to go to the bar and I always paid my rent and like somehow the money is always there.
Yeah, that's like me and Will though too, because he's very like analytical, black and white, has to have like a game plan for everything before like he pulls the trigger. And I'm just like, man, it's fine. It'll figure itself out. Just know that it'll happen. And sometimes I try to get like ahead of the game and try to force it, and then that never works out for me. And so then I always have to just like fall back to the, okay, all right, I surrender. This is what I want. Now show me how it's going to happen. And it always ends up happening. Every single time it ends up happening. Once I like let go of the who's, the what's, the why's, the how's, it ends up figuring itself out.
Yeah. Yeah, I can relate to that for sure.
It's so crazy. But that goes back to like the energy stuff. And I know, I mean, it's so interesting how it just plays. We don't talk about energy. We don't talk about emotions. And God, I was even listening to a podcast today where they were talking about like, 20 years ago, the law of attraction came out, they came out with like a new concept of the law of attraction or whatever, like 20 or 30 years ago, but they left out like the emotional piece, which is why I think a lot of people thought it was like hocus pocus, right? Like, oh yeah, I want this thing, but it's not coming to me. But they forgot to like put in like the emotional piece, the energetic piece, like how our thoughts,
the vibration piece.
Exactly. And it just goes back to like how important that was. And so I was listening to this podcast about how, like things have changed and people are becoming more and more emotional intelligent. And that's how they can, the more control you have over your emotions and how you think, act, and feel, the better you are able to handle energy or manipulate energy essentially, or call, things into your energetic vibration, basically, because you feel a certain way and it's all based on like feelings. It's just so crazy because we avoid feelings.
Yeah.
Or we're taught
it's all
to
about
avoid
that
them.
emotion. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But feeling that emotion and like getting into that frequency, because everything is a frequency, right? Like everything's made up of energy down to our, a cellular level. And when we feel a certain emotion, we are literally changing the frequency of ourselves and the way things are vibrating, therefore changing the experience around us. And so like people don't understand that piece, but it like, or how like the law of attraction works, and always saying that it's kind of like woo woo and stuff like that. But I always to share like this stuff from a scientific level and then like say like, actually like, no, there's like a real scientific reason behind why this works. And it's all about energy, and energy is real and it vibrates and it has a frequency, and your emotions affect that frequency, therefore affecting your reality.
Yeah. And just like everything, like food and words and actions, like they all have like a frequency or a vibration to them too, because there's even studies out there that say, and I bet everybody has heard this, but if you talk nice to plants, or if you talk nice to this petri dish of bacteria, like, things will happen to it. But it can. And this is like where people even like manifest disease in their physical body or pain or things like that because of where they carry their emotions, because they're not moving through them, or the way that they talk to themselves. It can really cause a lot of physical pain.
Absolutely. All that. Yeah. Everything starts in our energy body and works its way into the physical. Right. So like the energy of our words and even like you said, talking to the plants, like the same thing happens to water. And I know that like right. you know this too, but this is like one of the things that I love talking about because I think it's so fascinating. But the theory behind like water frequency and how like intention setting on your water changes the structure of water. And they've and there's books on this. Dr. Emoto is like the one that you can look or the author you can look up for this stuff. But like in his books, he has pictures of like water from like tap water and like what it looks like, and then what it looks like after you've like said loving kindness to it. And basically what these, like the frequency of our words changes the structure of the water. And so when you're drinking water that like has gone through like polluted pipes or I don't know, like dirty water that has dirty energy basically, and how that affects the cells in your body, because your body is made of mostly water. So you're putting that frequency of water into your body and changing the water that's already there, the water you're made up of, versus putting in water where you've changed the frequency of it to something positive. And then, you know, affecting your, like the water in your body that way.
Yeah, I know it's crazy.
It's so fascinating. Hey,
it is. But I mean, if you think about it, you can take water from like 5 different sources, and on a molecular level, I mean, without even like the intention setting with the words and stuff, and see the different chemical makeup of it just based on where it was sourced, whether it was like natural spring water, whether it came from a hose, whether it came from tap water, whether it came from a bottle. Like they all have different, you know, chemically they're like H2O, right? Whatever. But a lot of times like those molecules can have things that are attached to them, or they can actually like shift or whatever, based on like where they were sourced and kind of what clean or dirty stuff they picked up along the way. And this is why I've come to learn that it's very important to purify your water like several times, because you pick up a lot of shit in regular just water. And while it may not like kill you, it can definitely like cause some stuff to come up if you you know, if you're not drinking.
Lead to something.
Yeah. So interesting. You know, what's funny though, is like, I remember I was talking to you a few weeks ago, even about like microwaves and stuff. Cause I was listening to that one podcast that was like, get rid of your microwaves, you know, because did you know that microwaves can't even heat up food unless there's a certain amount of moisture, aka water within it. But then the microwaves will actually alter the water molecules. So then you're basically like drinking and eating chemically altered food that's not even the same property as it was before it was in the microwave. I had no idea.
Yeah, it goes back to what we were just talking about with the water memory theory about like just plain drinking water. The radiation or the waves from the microwave do the same thing to water. And then you're ingesting that, and it doesn't just change that, but it changes like the whole makeup of the food, and the nutrient content of the food is almost non-existent after heating it up in a microwave. And you know, it sounds so like dramatic when I tell people like, yeah, we don't use a microwave, we got rid of our microwave. You know, people kind of look at you funny, but you know, like if you actually take the time to look into it and like what's actually happening when you use it, it's not that crazy that someone wouldn't want to use one or even have one in their home and be around it.
Well, imagine just sitting next to like a nuclear power plant and like frying your food between like nuclear power plants and then being like, okay, now eat this fried egg. And you'd be like, no, I'm not doing that. There's like radioactive waves that went through there. Yet we have them in our house.
Exactly. But that's exactly what we're doing. And it's not even like the food that you put in it, just sitting next to it can affect you. Just sitting next to a microwave or being in the same room as one.
Well, you know, what's really interesting is, you know, we can microwave any type of food out there. You know, everybody says like, oh yeah, just heat it up in the microwave, heat it up in the mmicrowave, heat it up in the microwave. But you want to know what like the number one no thing to heat up in the microwave is? Breast milk. And you want to know why? It kills literally every good living thing that is healthy for a child. It kills it. It destroys it.
Yeah. All of the antibodies, like everything in there gets destroyed when you heat it up in the microwave. And it's like
the only thing that people are okay with though.
If we like just kind of sat and thought about it for a minute though, like if they're telling us don't microwave breast milk that we give to our infants, like why is it okay that we microwave like stuff for our toddlers then? Why is it okay that we microwave stuff for ourselves? You know what I mean? Like we take all these precautions when they're a baby, and then as they get older, we're like, they'll be fine. You know, we just stop like taking as good of care of ourselves. What am I trying to say? I don't know how I'm trying to word that, but do you get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, it's like all of a sudden, now you're a 2-year-old, now you're an adult, now you can eat toxic radioactive food. No big deal.
Yeah. Now I'm going to heat up all your meals in the microwave and you'll be fine. You know, and I'm not like trying to attack anybody who uses one, but I used to use one too, but then, learning more about it, it's kind of like, well, and I stopped actually when I got pregnant. That's when I stopped, when I got pregnant with Alexander. And I was already into like the holistic stuff and alternative ways of doing things. And I was reading a book, and they talked about like microwaves, and they like went into like how they actually work and what's actually happening to your food. And I was like, well, damn, like I don't want to eat this while, I don't want to use this while I'm pregnant. I don't even want to have it in my house. And so I heated everything up in the toaster oven, and I was teaching at the time, and I had taken a toaster oven and put it in my classroom instead of using the microwave in the break room. And everybody just thought I don't know. They just looked at me funny. They're like, you have a toaster oven in here. I'm like, yep. So I'm going to take a couple more minutes to heat up my food instead of, standing in front of a microwave while I'm growing a human and then eating it when I'm done.
It's so funny though, because you don't think about it and I didn't think about it until like, I mean, it's weird because like part of me knew that this was happening, but then like the other part of me is like, oh, well, it must be okay. Cause like, it's normal. Like everybody has a microwave. And then I started like looking into it more. And then I messaged you and I'm like, oh my God, I've been living under a rock. I've been living a lie. Like, what is life?
And that's the thing. Like, you don't know what you don't know. Right. So it's like, if you don't know, then it is what it is, right? Like you can't take it back. Like I can't take back using it. But now that I know the information I know, like I can either change it or I can pretend like nothing's happening. You know what I mean? I can ignore it. And I'm not about that. Once I know, and it's like, okay, so how can I make, like, what changes can I make, And it's actually pretty easy. Like I told you, I was like, you just use a toaster oven now, and it's pretty simple.
But it makes sense why they say ignorance is bliss, right? Because sometimes our society is set up that ignorance is the easier route. And not saying that like I'm intentionally calling people ignorant, because like I'm still learning, and like sometimes my mind's blown. Like so I've told you I've been binging on like that Fatal Conveniences podcast, and I'm learning about like sunscreens and bug sprays and sunglasses. And it all makes so much sense. So like yes, the clothes thing is huge. And I don't know, I feel like I knew a lot of this stuff, but it's like they're putting words and research to how I felt about it. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I am obsessed with that show as well. And like, that's the thing. That's why he calls it Fatal Conveniences, is because it's so inconvenient for us to make these changes because everything's just been so indoctrinated, right? Like everybody uses the microwave, and everybody wears these clothing, and everybody wears sunscreen when they go outside, and sunglasses protect your eyes. And like, we're just like told that all of these things are the way it is without any like real, I don't know, logic behind it. You know what I mean?
Well,
without really ever looking into it.
Yeah. It's just because it's convenient, right? Like even like what they were talking about recently, and this makes perfect sense, because I even told this to Will. I'm like, man, it feels like things aren't lasting as long. Like I feel like when, you were younger, you had like a refrigerator and it lasted for freaking ever, but now everything's made to like conveniently break down in 2 years, or like our clothes are made out of junk, or like our products are made out of just like shit quality, like you can buy a freaking cheeseburger for $1. Like, does that not, like, what do you think goes into that dollar making that freaking cheeseburger? And it's like, once you start thinking about it, it's full of junk, but people eat it because it's labeled as food, even though you don't find a cheeseburger in real life. And I'm pretty sure you were the one that did the cheeseburger challenge. And after a month,
I did the cheeseburger.
That's right. Yep. I forgot about that.
I bought a cheeseburger from McDonald's, and I opened it up, like took a picture of it, smelled it, like did all the things, made sure there was nothing funky with it, wrapped it back up and stuck it in the corner, like up out of reach so that my like son couldn't get into it, and left it there for, it was like 28 days. I left it there for 28 days, didn't touch it. And Opened it back up 20 days later. You could still smell it. It smelled like I had just bought it.
Gross.
Like, it literally smelled like I was walking into McDonald's. Everybody knows what a McDonald's cheeseburger smells like. Like, everybody knows that smell. That hadn't changed at all. Opened it up. The bread didn't have any mold on it. And I think we can all relate to like bread getting left out on the counter too long, right? It molds.
Yeah.
Or it didn't have a speck of mold on it. The cheese didn't have it. Yeah, it should have mold. The cheese didn't have any mold and was like still, I mean, like everything looked exactly the same. And I bet you if I would have heated it up in a microwave and softened everything back up, spritzed it with some water and heated it back up, it probably would have tasted exactly the same too. And I probably could have given it to somebody and they wouldn't have known the difference.
And that's so gross.
It's disgusting. And that I always say, like, I vote with my dollars because everyone's like, well, I can't afford to buy this and I can't afford to do that. And I understand that our society makes it inconvenient for us to be healthier.
It does. It's a tragedy, it's a failed, flawed, fucked up system. It really is.
Yeah, it is. It's bullshit. And I get that. But it's like, at the same time, it's like all these farmers and all these people out there that are trying to make a difference and that are trying to do better, they can't do better if everyone refuses to buy their stuff because of the price.
Exactly.
And so for me, it's like, well, I'm going to vote with my dollars and I'm going to support those people who are out there who are trying to make a difference. And if I have to cut money elsewhere to make it work, then I will. And that's what we had to do. Like, we wanted to buy better food. So we stopped spending money in other places, and I feel like once you try and become more sustainable and once you like get into like a more like sustainable, minimalistic type lifestyle, you like those like expenses just kind of dwindle anyway. But like, that's what we've done is just like, this is the kind of stuff that we want to eat and the kind of food we want to buy and the companies we want to support. And you just find a way to make it work. But yeah, it's a tough adjustment because like you said, when you can buy a cheeseburger for $1, you literally can't go and buy the ingredients to make that for less than 15.
Exactly. No, it's hard. And that's why I feel like I talk a lot about incremental upgrades, because sometimes it's not sustainable if you throw everything out in your kitchen or everything out in your life that's, toxic or, and so it's just like, okay, just be aware and then going forward, make better decisions. You don't have to go buy top shelf everything or, you don't have to go buy and make your own freaking clothes or make your own, like, you just have to like incrementally upgrade like the things that are most important to you. So like one big switch that we made was like with the oils and the perfumes, like that was a big thing for me. Milk was a big thing for me. Fruits and vegetables was a big thing for me. Having less processed foods was like cutting out pop. Like we no longer buy pop. Like that was a big thing for me. And I was a Diet Mountain Dew junkie, so it was just like gradually like changing where we spent our money and, swapping things out to where now like majority of my grocery shopping is, produce. So produce and frozen.
Yeah. Yeah. And absolutely. Like I talk about all these things that, that we do and, to live a healthier lifestyle and to avoid all these chemicals and toxins that are in our environment, but we didn't go cold turkey into that, you learn little pieces at a time, you learn little bits at a time. And I'm still learning, just like you said. And we just gradually made changes,
and it's just doing the research but like once you like learn about this stuff and read about this stuff, like I have a hard time consciously choosing different. Like I almost like feel, you know what I mean? Like when I'm like, man, I don't want to choose between this and that. So I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to like go without, but I'm going to make like the best decision, but it's so funny when I started to like make these decisions. Cause like I used to be a smoker. I mean, that I think a lot of the listeners know that too, but like I used to smoke like 3 packs of cigarettes a week, that's $15-20 a week. Like I could buy a whole lot of you know, I could do so much with $20 a week if I just, you know, started taking care of myself and got rid of some of these like bad habits, or like people who have like shopping addictions, or people who like, you know, go to the bar, or people who go out to eat chronically. Like think of like where your money is going,
Mm-hmm.
and you could make a lot more healthier, happier decisions if you just, you know, lived more aware, really be more mindful of
Yeah.
the things you're doing.
Absolutely. And one of like my biggest things recently has been the clothes thing. And I know that I talked to you about this, but all the shit that's in our clothes. And
Formaldehyde
the
is
that,
the
like,
number one thing. Like formaldehyde
it just
is
makes
the,
me sick.
but like, okay, so I'll talk about this, and I know we're like coming up on time. I don't even know what the purpose of this podcast is, other than we just want to like talk about all the things. But so and I bet you know this too, but like formaldehyde is a known carcinogen. I believe, and it's something else. Oh, what is it? It's something else. But anyways, what they do, so when you have that like new car smell, or you have that new clothes smell, and you guys ever notice how like when you buy clothes they're never wrinkled, it's because they're all pressed and steamed with formaldehyde. Same with like the vehicles. Like a new car smell is actually formaldehyde is what you're smelling. It's not like they actually like scent your car with that, and believe it or not, it's embedded in like the plastic and things too. So like when your car heats up, it's like radiating even more formaldehyde into the air. So they say that like if you get a new car, or you have that new car smell, you're actually supposed to drive with your windows down, but this can actually cause things like headaches and chronic nosebleeds and like all kinds of things that people didn't even know was like related to their car. Same with like their clothes. And like formaldehyde isn't something that you can wash out. Sorry, now I'm like going on a tangent, but like, so then it gets into like it leaks into our water system through our washing machines and stuff like that too. And there's actually like our clothes that are made of like polyester. Believe it or not, there's little tiny like chemical, or little tiny like beadlets basically of plastic that come off into our water systems. And yes. And did you know that there's like in the bottoms, sorry, now somebody's calling me, but in like the bottoms of the ocean, there's basically like these dust bunnies full of like microplastics, because there's nowhere for them to go, because they just are washed away. And then, you know, over time, plastics don't really dissolve unless it's like 500 or 1,000 years or whatever. So it's like we have all these like waves of plastic dust bunnies in our ocean because of our polyester plastic clothes.
And our salt, like our sea salts and stuff like that, are contaminated with microplastics because of all the microplastic in our water supply. And so like that's like a huge issue with like salt and sea salt. And endocrine disruptor, I think, is what you're looking for with formaldehyde.
Yes, that's exactly. I'm like, there's a word for it, but I'm not going to think of it because it screws with your hormones.
Yeah, it messes with your hormones. Yep. And blue jeans, and I know you know this, but when they want to throw out blue jeans at the factory, they have to throw them out as hazardous material. So like your blue bags. Yes, your blue jeans go out in biohazard bags at the factory. And that's what you're putting on your body.
They're full of artificial dyes. They're full of formaldehyde. There's another toxin that they put in them too, to make sure that they're, you know, like long lasting, but that doesn't even include the polyester and things like that they put in for the stretch that they have now. So they're full of plastics and things just that aren't good for your body. You ever notice like how, like if you wear too tight of jeans, like you can break out in rash, or all of a sudden you're like itchy, or you get like yeast infections. Like there's a reason for that.
Yep. And like little bumps, like I know like people who get the little bumps on the back of their arms, or like on the back of their like shoulders and stuff. They're not like pimples, they're just like little like bumps on your skin. And a lot of times
heat rash is what people call it.
Well, it doesn't even have a color really. Like it's like they're just like bumps, and I forget like the term for them, but it's caused by like reactions to the chemicals in your clothing. And anyway, and that's one of the things like I'm slowly like, now that, you know, and I've been aware of it for a while, but I'm always learning more. And, you know, again, not like cold turkey, but like now that I know what I know, it's like I don't buy blue jeans anymore, and I get rid of the ones that I have. And when I do want to buy like new stuff, I'm like, okay, so who can I buy from that has organic, sustainable clothing? Because
timeless clothing too, not fast fashion.
Yes. And like, that's my thing too, is like, I've actually never been into like changing my wardrobe. I have always been that person who's wearing pants that I bought 7 years ago. Like, I've always been that way. And so, yeah, like if we just go back to like that mindset about how we have a couple good pieces of clothing, you know, that'll last us throughout a week or two, and we just wear the same thing.
I know somebody made fun of me. They're like, you wear the same shirt all the time. I'm like, yeah, it's because I'm being a minimalist. I'm just, you know, keeping the things that bring me joy and tossing all the rest of the stuff. So
yeah, I'm always in the same thing. I had somebody comment on that because I'm always sharing, you know, on my Instagram, I'm always in my sports bra and stuff doing my workouts, and I wear the same nursing sports bras like over and over again. I wash them, but
liar, like, you do not. No,
I wash them when they start to stink. No, but for real, they're clean. But no, like people do, they notice that stuff. I'm like, how are you noticing what I like, the sports bra that I'm wearing in every workout video?
I know. I feel like I just wear the same things over and over.
But I do too, which makes the transition to sustainable clothing easy for me because I don't have like yeah, and I don't have a million pieces of clothing that I rotate through. I have like 5 things.
Yep. Yeah, me too. I just don't know. Like it used to be something I cared a lot about when I was younger. And now I'm like, you know what? I don't even care. I just don't even care anymore.
I work from my RV. I like live on the road. I'm like, I don't need to have like all these outfits. Nobody sees me unless I'm out, you know, doing stuff, but
doesn't matter. No, gosh, I feel like this podcast is going to be, I feel like it's going to be awesome. I wish we would have hit record earlier. We're going to have to hit record earlier next time. So
I know we need to start doing that when we're having our talks.
Just any conversation, really. I know. I feel like it was pretty informative though. I mean, hopefully it's eye-opening for some people.
Yeah. Hopefully they enjoyed us going back and forth about random stuff for an hour.
Yeah. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure to screenshot and share it on Instagram. Tag us, Jordan Wavra, Sasha.Davis, and or is it Jordan.Wavra?
It's just Jordan Wavra.
Jordan Wavra.
No dot.
Sasha Davis for some reason was taken, and I don't know where she is, but
she's not Sasha Davis.
She's not the real one. She's not the real one. This is it right here. Sasha.Davis. All right. Well, I'll let you go. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this podcast, definitely let us know. Shout us out, send us a message, screenshot, share to your social, whatever you got to do. Give us ratings. Let us know what you loved most. And we'll catch you next time.
Yeah. If you want to hear us go off on a tangent of another topic, let us know. I'm sure we can do it.
Thanks for listening to the Sasha Davis podcast. For more information on personal and professional development, we've created a master list of all of the resources discussed in the podcast and the blog. So head on over to sashadavis.com/resources for our full list.